Hello everyone, I'm Drew, I'm that frog guy, and today we're coming at you from the Reptile Room with a Reptile Room video. So stay tuned, and I'll show you all the stuff we got going on down here today. Start with the island tank, since that was right behind me in the opening. We got our three Azurias. Hawaiian Azurias. They're a type of dark frog, for those who don't know. That one has a J on his back, or a T. Pretty much a J, it's hard to get this angle, but... So we got three of them in here in this planted vivarium. But we'll move it around, go so you guys can see the whole thing. It's a 30-gallon long tank. Dimensions are 12 by 18 by 36. It's a nice sized tank. If it wasn't so badly scratched, it would be a really cool vivarium, but I needed something, and they seem to be enjoying the size, the space, and I kind of like the scape, so I didn't really want to change it too much. I just wish it wasn't so scratched. If anyone has an idea how to polish out some of these deeper scratches, that'd be great, but I can't take the frogs out, so it has to be something to be able to do from inside easily, or that's not going to kill them. But we'll keep jumping around. Let's get one last look at these guys here. But we'll jump over to the saltwater tank, which is on the direct opposite side. This is the 20-gallon high build tank with a frogfish. You can kind of see him there. We'll do a quick once-over without changing the lens. And then we'll put it on so you guys can get a good idea what it looks like. Not quite, it's a little more blue in person. But we got a scarlet leg hermit crab up there by some zoas. More zoas. We got a Duncan coral there. We got a feather duster worm there, a feather duster worm there. We got our big starfish. We got some snake zoas and some other zoas, along with a chalice that you guys have been watching has been growing and growing and growing. Even my snail has a lot of new growth. That hasn't moved too much, the little star polyps. We've got some mushroom corals. We'll go back up and look at Pennywise the frogfish. You guys can see that he's grown quite a bit since we first got him. He's been eating cherry shrimp and ghost shrimp. One of our other interesting inhabitants is out and about. The, what is it, sand sifting conch? See his little trunk sticking out the front. I don't have a good angle on him here. Let's see if I can spy on him from over this way. Kind of see that black little long thing, but he's kind of hard to see. Ooh, there he is. A little weird. You can see his arm moving. Yep. They pull themselves around with that. We got a shed from the crab there. Everything's doing pretty good in this tank. I'm really enjoying how it's all coming together. We even have this Gorgonian doing really well, which is good. A lot of the algae's died off, so I don't know what I'm gonna do yet with this whole what do they call it? Refugium, but we'll get to that eventually. That'll be a different video. But we'll jump down the line of tanks over to the 30-gallon tall tank. We have only 5 Danios in here, and we have 2 of the 3 babies that we had. One had passed away, so I decided that stupid gravel I had in that tank, I should have known. It was releasing something into the water, and it was killing my shrimp once they got moved into this tank. And I was like, okay, what's going on? So the whole thing is that weird aqua soil was really bad and was poisoning my fish and my shrimp and everything. So I just got rid of it, and now these guys are doing great. I'm actually happy that the little one isn't getting picked on too much, and even that medium-sized one is doing really well with the group. Just a planted tank. You can see the growth on the aquatic plants there. They're growing quite a bit. They're spreading out a little bit. We'll see how this tank goes in the future. I'm not really doing too much with the scape yet. It probably will get redone eventually. But for now, that's a huge cherry shrimp. I've been actually putting all the really big ones in here to see if I can breed out the size. And it looks like I got one large male there, but that female is massive, along with even that female is pretty huge. For those who don't know anything about shrimp, the females there, you can see how the undercarriage, the back half, is kind of bowed in. You can see that in her, but on the male, for one being less colorful, he's also quite a bit skinnier looking. So that's interesting, in case you ever want to breed shrimp. You got to make sure you have the male and female, but generally, easy way to tell, females will be dark color, males will be clear. And we'll jump over to your tank here. Let's come say hello. This is Bandit's tank. He is a 4-striped, what are they called, damselfish. Sorry about the glass. I actually cleaned it a day ago, but then I fed all the coral, the coral and stuff in here. So I got all this new algae growth, so it's a little hard to see through. I should grab the lens so you guys can see how well that other coral's doing. Should just keep this clipped to my phone in case I walk around. You know, that old chestnut. But it's still super algae tank. I don't have high hopes for it, except for the pulsing xenia is doing really well, and the whatchamacallit, one of the flower anemones moved. I remember it moved back out. It was hiding for the last like week and a half, and I haven't seen it. This is the first time I've seen it, so it moved back out to a spot. This one has always loved its spot, but looks weird looking through the camera at the. But then we got a giant urchin there. You get a good close up on. They're just such a weird. Look at all the little tendrils that are out. Slowly moving around. But we'll be enough of that tank. The next tank doesn't have a bunch of a blue. We have a snail crawling up the side there. I actually have one of those left. This tank is kind of still got a little problem with the cyno. But with the addition of the macroalgae, it seems that it went from cyno to now green hair algae, which is fine. This is going to be an algae tank for shrimp reproduction. So I really don't care, but it's kind of cool that all this algae is kind of starting to grow, and maybe the cyno will start backing off, but we'll see. I'll go show you my next hairy tank. I haven't actually looked at this tank in a while. I've just been letting it go, putting a little more fresh in it. It's kind of a little tidal pool style tank. Not doing the greatest, I'll be honest. I don't know what to do with it yet. I'm just gonna leave it and see if some algae there, or see if we can get some growth or something, but I'm not really worried about it. It just kind of was for fun. But we'll go over to the next tank, which was the food tank. Now we have, what are they called? They're really mollies. We have 3 mollies, the male there, and the 2 big orange females like normal. And then we have the last 2 surviving neon tetras that I ended up moving into this tank because the Danios were so mean to them. We're killing them off left and right. So I needed something for the Danio tank that won't be as picked on so easily. And then we go up to this shrimp tank. I've been trying to deal with all of the duckweed. I have so much duckweed in all my tanks, and I hate it. And I'll show you Floki's tank. We have a little bit of algae growth there, but this tank is kind of cool now. It's kind of got its own like jungle tree vibe, and I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I'm just gonna let it percolate in my brain and probably have to rescape it a bunch. But right now it's just a shrimp tank. I moved about 10 or 15 shrimp in here to start the colony going. Some females, some males. Because this tank is overgrown with the frogfish eating them too. I kind of need to keep making more. And then we did something amazing with Froki's tank. We scooped and scooped and scooped, got as much duckweed as I possibly can out, so you guys can finally see him again. He had a little fin rot on the back there. It's starting to grow back in. I'm thinking without the flow of the water, it was getting really stagnant in here and not doing well, but you can see how big the shrimp are in this tank too. Like, I believe there's some kind of valve back there, but you actually can even see our little algae eaters here. They're doing pretty well. This whole tank, as soon as you get rid of all the duckweed, starts doing well again. So we'll see what happens in the future with this tank. But Floki's much happier, aren't you, Flokes? Aren't you? Aren't you? Yeah. If you've never had a beta, they're so personable, and they sit like a cat. You sometimes think they're dead, just hanging out on a leaf or something. Then they'll be like, oh nope, I'm just hanging out. You can tell the difference in color. That piece of wood is really leached out the tannins. We kind of got a black water tank, as they call, and he looks really cool in it because he's so white. But we'll jump up to our turtle tank, and we'll take a look for B. Be it Boris. We have a cat named Boris, so it'll be, there she is, or he. What are you doing? Look at the camera. Look at the camera. But yeah, B, we're calling her B because we don't know if he or she is a boy or a girl. That turtle girl commented saying that with the long tail it could be a boy, so this may be Bernard or Bernie, or we'll figure out a cool name for him eventually. But he's a cute little turtle, painted turtle. He's in he or she is in a little 10-gallon tank that used to be the Firebelly Toad's tank. I've been raising up the water level. I've put duckweed in here because I heard that they actually can eat it, which I thought was kind of cool. A little tiny little poop, turtle poop, little tiny turtle poop. There's also cherry shrimp in here, like most of my tanks. They seem to get around. But we'll keep moving around. We got this bucket full of snails, which I'm thinking for this area I'm gonna put a little greenhouse right here to start raising up some plants for vivarium use, because I'm always wanting to make more vivariums but never have plants, and then I'm like, okay, I have to take cuttings or pull stuff out of the other tanks. I just cleaned the glass in this tank, but it's already getting fogged up. We got the Firebelly Toads. This is a 55-gallon tank, hex front, where we have 2 mountains on each side, filled with gravel in the back, and then big rocks kind of holding it in place, and then filled with water in the center. There's cherry shrimp in this little pond. I should do some cleaning though. It looks kind of dingy. We'll open the top because it'll be able to see everything a little better. There's a bunch of Firebelly Toads in here. Can't always count for sure how many there are because they just move around so quickly. One on the leaf there, one there, one there, and they're starting to get their greenish color that they're kind of known for. This bigger one here is starting to get a yellower belly, so we'll see. They'll start getting bigger, and we'll start seeing some cool colors on them eventually. So that'll be interesting for you guys to watch as this tank progresses and how big they get. Then we'll jump over to our green tree frogs, our gray tree frogs. You can see we got one right there. Look how big they've grown since my last video on them. They are almost as big as my thumbnail dart frogs, and almost as big as the spring peepers. There is still 2 in here, but they are lime green, and unless they're sitting on the rock or the log, I can never see them. Been feeding them bigger and bigger fruit flies. Yeah, then beetles, and they're gonna start getting the toad diet, and the toads are starting to get a bigger diet than that. So we'll continue down the line to Ziggy's old tank, is now the salamander tank. There's 2 of them in here, little blue spotted salamanders, and I did see them both the other day. One was actually out and he saw me and then quickly turned around because he's like, oh no, I've been spotted. But me cleaning the glass today probably hid them in here. But it is a 20-gallon high with a water feature, and I like this tank. It's Ziggy's old tank. I kind of don't want to change too much, but it might need some work eventually. But the problem with having so many lights in this room, it's glary on some of these tanks. But it always makes me happy to come down here and be like, oh, it's not winter. I can relax. It's summertime down here. But we'll jump our way down to Gitrog's tank. Gitrog is not a happy camper. He is kind of chilling. He looks dead, but he's not. He just doesn't like me. He's sleeping. Frogs, apparently these kind of frogs sleep really weird. I've been trying to get him to go up on the shore a little more, but no, he's not happy with me. Not happy at all. So I'm gonna leave him alone. But we'll move over to the ants. They moved out of the tube, but I've only seen the queen. I haven't seen any workers, so I don't know what's going on. So there she is right there. I don't know what's going on. I don't know ants well enough to know anything about what's going on here. They might get moved out. We'll jump over to the toads, who were out this morning. And they are now hiding. Maybe we'll come back to them. But we'll go jump up to this tank. And what's new? We have the Luke in here. And we have Thaddeus over there. I felt like I should finally redo these tanks. Especially since there's only one of these guys now. And Thaddeus is so much larger. He needs a bigger tank. These guys are... This little guy will do really well in this tank. So I pulled out some plants, put new moss, and I'm glad he's doing well. Jump over to Mulder and Scully's tank. These, oh, for those that don't know, that is a Dendrobates leucomella. It is a banded one, so it's a bumblebee. Those are American toads. Those are, I believe, carpenter ants, and he's a pixie frog. And then we got, in here we got two intimidators, for those who don't know. Imitators. And they were out earlier, hopping around. You see one right back there. They're really skittish. But apparently, Thaddeus, what are you doing? Focus. Focus, focus. Such a cool belly. Yeah, I know, you're not used to such a big tank. It's cool though. You're cool. We'll move up to the... Oh, they just hopped. See one hiding down here. Spring peeper tank. There's two spring peepers in here. These guys are getting an upgrade really soon. Let's knock over my misting system. The other one's right there. They're gonna move into where the tree frogs are at. The tree frogs are gonna move into a tall tank that I'm gonna do a foam background. So, what are you doing? But we'll move around to Tortellini, one of our favorites. He's just sunning on a rock, and someone that needed a little bit of a tank upgrade. Well, Tortellini is I'll back all the way up to Thaddeus. Thaddeus is a powder blue Tinctoris dart frog, a puppy dog. He's one of the biggest species. You can see how big he is compared to your hand. Like, good sized frog. Tortellini is an African spur-thighed tortoise in a large, rounded tank. He's gonna have to get something bigger eventually, though. Also, he doesn't barely fit in his hide anymore, so that's why it's got ends open on both sides so he can actually get in and out. Then we got Khaleesi, who is a bearded dragon. I just added a large log in here for her to run around on because I was kind of... She couldn't really get high enough to light. Also, I hung the lights a little higher so they can be a little easier to deal with. Khaleesi is getting close to 2 years old? Something like that. And then we got Cersei here. She is our pinstripe ball python. I will get more of these made up soon now that tanks are kind of getting more settled in. Species are getting figured out. So that way I can stop on this. You guys could pause if you want to learn more stuff, but she's getting excited seeing me here. She wants food. I don't have any food. Then we got Alfredo down here, who is just sticking his nose out. He hasn't bit me yet, but he did strike my wife the other day, right in the hand. Not on purpose. We were trying to feed him, and she opened the cage from the front side instead of opening it back away from her hand. Her hand was in the opening, and he snapped at it. He was just hungry. He just was excited. But Alfredo is a albino ball python, and will be the mate to Cersei eventually. But there we go. We've done the whole tour. We went to all the tanks. Whoop. You alright, Thaddeus? That was kind of a fall. He's fine. I wish the toads would have came out for you guys to see, since they're doing really well. Get trogs moving. What are you doing? But we'll come back. You guys will be able to see more videos eventually. So like, subscribe, and we almost forgot Casey. Hey Casey. Like, subscribe, And we'll see you guys next time.